Well, it's official from Bungie. Marathon is getting delayed indefinitely. We do not have a release date set from the recent announcement by the team over at Bungie. And myself and many others have praised Bungie for making this decision to be able to delay the game, but I don't think it's going to really be that massive game changer type of delay that I think a lot of us were really hoping for. Based on the information provided by Bungie about this delay, they're making some very significant changes to the game that people have been requesting since people have known about this game. But will it be enough? And will Bungie get enough time to make this game what it needs to be? Well, I do. Stay tuned throughout the whole video to understand all the details. The price of gaming is only going up, and we're seeing that with the major publishers out there raising the price of their games. So if you want to play games like Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and the Oblivion remake, it's gonna tally up and cost a lot of money. To make gaming affordable, Instant Gaming might be the platform you're looking for. But why is that? Well, Instant Gaming sells digital video games offering discounts at a wide range across various gaming platforms. With super fast download speeds and over 750,000 positive reviews, they're safe and reliable because all the keys come from original and trusted sources. So to keep gaming affordable, check out my link in the description. So as stated by Bungie here on their Marathon development update, which is the first time we've heard anything from them since that disastrous live stream that was supposed to be like, oh, hey, the Play MA, we can actually discuss about we're changing about the game, and oh, wait, actually, yeah, we can't talk about that at all because all of our art's apparently stolen. Of course, the big bit of information right here is saying that after much discussion within our dev team, we have made the decision to delay the September 23rd release, which is absolutely what was needed for this game. Like, if this game was going to release on September 23rd of this year, it was not going to be good. And that's coming from somebody who played a good amount of this alpha. I put about like 40, 50 hours into the alpha during that week. I really enjoyed playing the game. I saw the positive aspects of this game that I think a lot of people don't really talk about so much because negativity and drama gets attention, obviously. But I really enjoyed this game, but I could even recognize that yeah, this definitely needs some more time to cook. There's some aspects of this game that just needs more to get people engaged with it, especially with it being a multiplayer only extraction shooter game coming in with this big, huge budget and trying to expect to just grab all these players in, which is being harder and harder even more nowadays. Because there's a very interesting trend that's happening with gaming right now, and the fact that's apparently with PC gamers, 92% of their time was spent playing older games. Saying 67% of players' hours on PC were spent on games that were 6 or more years older. A further 25% of players' hours spent on games that were 2 or to 5 years of age. And the remaining 8% spent on games that were less than 2 years old. That's just PC players. Like, no, this is another stat. Same thing from last year as well, saying 60% of playtime was spent in 2023 went to games that were 6 years or older. Basically, people have found their live service games that they like to play, and I've been playing for them with those games for a long time. So it's a really tall ask to get those players to jump from their live service game where they spent time, effort, and money to get good at the game and financially obligated to those games now to then jump over to a new live service game which only has multiplayer aspect to it. It's a tough sell. And Marathon needs to be a really high quality, obvious, like, oh my God, I need to play this type of game to really get people to be motivated to leave their live service game to play this one. So when I was reading through this blog, I was like, okay, yeah, there's some good points that they're talking about, like upping the survival of the game, doubling down the Marathon universe, and adding more social features. Specifically, they actually do mention proximity chat, which finally we're actually going to get it, which is something that's been universally praised by the community as a whole. It's like, hey, put it in the game, please. Oh my God. But specifically mentioning, talking about like saying upping the survival aspect, saying being more challenging and engaging AI encounters, more rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events, and making combat more tense and strategic, which I think all of this is, yeah, that all sounds good. But I think none of this really is going to be anything that's going to be like, oh my God, the game's drastically different now. It's just going to be kind of like what we played in the alpha, but probably a little bit more closer to what we envision that core experience to really be. We kept hearing them like, oh my God, you guys got to play the 4th map. Trust me, the Marathon map is going to be the game changer of a map. We've heard this from the content creators who've had a chance to play it. I'm a Marathon content creator and I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I don't think a singular map that's going to probably be more high tier experience where majority of people are not going to really be playing it, that the core gameplay of Marathon needs to be good. And this is what we had for the alpha, and it just wasn't really anything that would really convey or convince players to leave their current game or franchise or experience to go for this one instead. I mean, more challenging AI encounters, I think we're talking about more like maybe activating the 4, but I think they're going to save that for more like high tier, kind of more like save it to the end kind of thing. Just like fighting the robots was just kind of just repetitive and boring. They all kind of played out the same. And talking about like more rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events, I think more dynamic events is definitely what needed, because I think we only had like a handful of them, right, for available during the alpha, which those events were fine, but there was just like, it was like 3, maybe 4 of them or something like that. It got really repetitive really fast. And also talking about saying making combat more tense and strategic. I mean, I thought the combat was pretty tense and strategic as well when it comes to utilizing your abilities at the right time and things like that. But I mean, I think it also kind of talked about like kind of referencing towards like how body armor and stuff like that really played a factor within Marathon to really see like if it almost felt like if you had purple shields, you're almost going to win the match, or win your in a gunfight because you had more shields, which should certainly play a factor, but it shouldn't be the only reason why you win kind of thing. And also talking about like more rewarding loot runs and stuff like that. I think the big thing is too that like since Marathon's supposed to be like a casual game, right? Like, but the thing is that it didn't really feel like it was that casual of a game. Really just because it was rather punishing. Like, right, if you died, you lost pretty much everything, which I can see not being that appealing to like a more casual shooter if you're a fan of like Call of Duty, Destiny, Halo, or these kind of different types of franchises out there, that like not having like a secure box, which is very common within these extraction shooters, to not have that feature, I think is something that it's gonna be very detrimental to like a new player experience, because you're gonna die a lot, you're gonna lose a lot of stuff, and having that learning curve is supposed to be kind of like part of the appeal of learning a game like an extraction shooter like Marathon. But also you need to kind of like give like that instant gratification, like, okay, if I die, at least I get to keep this one thing, right? Because definitely when it comes to the loot of this game, like it was pretty tough to come across some decent looking stuff. I had like 1 gold that I was able to get off of like a player that I killed, but then later in that same run, I died from somebody else. And then that's my one time having a gold tier item. That was within like 40, 50 hours of playing the game. Like the loot just needs to be a little bit more, I don't say forgiving, but just a little more exciting, or find some way to kind of maintain that high end stuff, especially if you're looking to wipe at the end of every season, which is the original plan for Marathon. Now this part talking about doubling down on the Marathon universe, talking about increase the visual fidelity, because yeah, the map perimeter, the outside areas were looking pretty flat and dull, right? And also saying more narrative and environmental storytelling to discover and interact with. And also talking about saying a darker tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy, which I think this is something that could really help kind of make a stand out. Because yeah, it definitely felt a little too like upbeat, a little too like peppy, like, hey, we're runners out here and we're killing each other constantly. It's amazing, right? It's kind of a weird vibe to the whole thing. I'm also talking about like the more narrative environmental storytelling, like definitely need to be there, because everything we've heard about the story when it comes to Marathon is kind of like they're just kind of writing it as they go. And the lore that we did get from Marathon was really all tied to just the simple like contracts of like Traxxas kind of coming in and talking to you about like, hey, look, guess you did this thing. But like I always kind of skipped that dialogue because they really kind of just kept saying the same thing over and over again. I'm just being like, oh, hey, you're quite the net mercenary. We could definitely use you. If you want to really prove your worth, go out and do this thing because it will really help us out a lot. That would be amazing. And it's like that kind of over and over again. It didn't really feel like it was building up to anything or really referencing any characters or the world or anything. It's very much like you and how you did great every single time. And it just wasn't really that interesting. But there was actually one little bit of lore that was available that our boy here, Active, friend of the channel here, found, which I thought was really interesting. I wanted to share with you guys on this one.
It's a dead body!
Yeah, we can go in data wall too.
Alright.
This is Dr. Song. Dying far from home. I did it. I found it. Even if it found me later. You hear me? You can colonize my blood and liquefy my bones, but I figured you out.
Maybe I shouldn't have gone down.
See? Exactly. Something like that is what you need more of. Like something a little bit like that creates interest. It creates mystery. Yeah, that's a person. It's Dr. Song. That's a person, right? It creates like human connection with the story. And we just weren't getting that with how Marathon was already doing it. So, I I mean, hopefully things work out better when it comes to that side of things. Of course, and it's a multiplayer game, so I'm not really expecting a whole lot from this kind of stuff. But hey, you never know. I mean, things could definitely get interesting, I would hope. But like with I'm only assuming a couple months we're gonna get out of this entire delay right here. That I couldn't imagine like a full-fledged, don't expect like a full-fledged campaign or like PvE mode or anything like that. But of course, then also going to talk about the additional more social experiences and better player experience for solos and duos, and prox chat so for more social experiences as well. Which, by the way, thank God, prox chat's coming into the game. This is gonna be huge for the game and just in general, right? Because I had so much fun, like especially playing like DMZ with prox chat on and be able to talk with people in lobby, because then you get like the whole like DayZ classic mode of like, oh hey, are you friendly or you foe, and like you can work together and do some kind of really interesting things. That was super fun, and you didn't get that at all in Marathon. It was always just like, okay, there's a guy over there, I need to kill them because they're going to shoot me because we can't communicate to get together. And also a thing like that as well, talking about this, saying a better player experience for solos and duos. I know a lot of people have been requesting solos and duos, or just solos in general when it comes to Marathon. I don't really think that's going to be something that's going to be very beneficial to the game at all, to have like a solo mode. Really just because, like I said, the game is balanced around being in a team of 3. And also I've seen previous experiences of this, say like with Apex Legends, when they have solo mode and people end up just still playing trios to this day. Like it's something that people feel like they want, but probably actually don't really want, but it could be one of those things where maybe they have to like put the dev time in to make a solo mode just so that it can like appease people to be like, have that little comfort area. Like, okay, it's a solo, it's up to me to do well kind of stuff. But I do feel like there's ways around this issue where you can still be in teams of 3. I think the main thing would just be if you're in a matchmaking and you're queuing up a solo, just match up with other solo queue players, at least prioritize that. Because that's the big thing, especially because I definitely came across this from my time playing Marathon, was that if you're solo queuing, you match up with a bunch of solos, play against a team of 3, coordinating together all probably in Discord or something, or with party chat, that's a clear advantage they have on you, and especially against their no communication randoms, that it makes it way more difficult to really kind of enjoy the game in a solo experience. So really, I think if you just make sure that like if you queue up solo, you match up primarily with other solo players, I think that's the main fix for the whole thing. As long as that's clearly communicated to the players before the game releases, even in game as well, I think that'd be a huge benefit to let people know like, hey, if you queue up solo, don't worry, you're not going to get stomped by a whole squad and lose all your progress. Okay, so no release dates given yet. So when can we expect it? Is it going to be a year-long wait, 2-year-long wait? Like how long is it going to be? Well, I don't think it's going to be as long as I think a lot of people are hoping for. As I talked about in the previous video here, Herman Hulse, who is the head of PlayStation Studios over there, recently said that this is their live service plan for Sony. And you can see right here, Marathon, this was just mentioned a few days ago. And it's saying Marathon was in FY25, which that means that if it's going to release in FY25 for Sony, that means the latest we'll see this game release is at the end of March of 2026. I also find it hilarious that they still had fair games written on here. Like this game, I don't even think this game's ever coming out. They recently just fired the head of the studio that founded the studio that's making fair games because of the recent playtests have not been very good. But that's a whole other story right there. But seeing Marathon still listed here in FY25, again, I'm pretty sure the heads of Sony knew that this game was going to be delayed. I think all we're really going to get is just that giving Bungie enough time to really do like a full audit of the art style of the game to make sure there is no stolen art within the game. And then I think by that point, like while they're still combing through all the art and stuff like that, it gives them an opportunity to fix up the game in certain kinds of ways to appease to the audience more, to try to give players what they want out of this game, especially since it being a multiplayer only game, it really needs to come out swinging. This is a AAA, big budget, large studio game. We expect high quality, big budget kind of experiences, right? And to have it be just like a multiplayer that's kind of just pretty good, it's not going to be that top 5 seller that Sony said they wanted this game to be. And it's going to be a very uphill battle for a game like Marathon to really kind of pop off to be like up there with Call of Duties and Fortnites and be above Apex Legends and things like that. Now, Bungie did mention saying that over the next few months, we will continue closed testing, including participants from the alpha, to deploy gameplay updates and test new features as they come online. Now, I am a part of the creator team when it comes to Marathon. I'm like that lower tier. I didn't get a chance to play at Bungie, which Bungie, please call me. I'm right down the street, literally. But as part of the content creator crew, I'm kind of assuming I'll be able to play in some of these play tests and hopefully give my thoughts and opinions. Probably be under NDA, guys. But if there's anything I can talk about or share with you, you know I will with on this channel, guys. All right, if you made it this far in the video, I hope I earned your like, maybe even a subscribe. If you want to know who the real ones are, leave a green square in the comments. Let me know who the real ones are. I made it to the end of the video here. But thank you all so much for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Missing marathon videos from me recently, check them out right here. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.